What if everything you've ever been told about power is a lie? We grow up believing that power belongs to the loudest, the most aggressive, the ones who always have something clever to say. But Nietzsche saw through that illusion, and if you've ever felt invisible or overlooked, you'll understand this pain better than anyone, because the real secret isn't about shouting to be heard, but about mastering the kind of silence that makes the world lean in to listen. Here's the catch: the majority will never figure this out. Society rewards noise, yet the people who quietly hold the strings, shifting entire rooms with a single glance or a well-timed pause, are the ones who become truly influential. It sounds almost unfair, doesn't it? Imagine unlocking a level of respect and control in your life that has nothing to do with being extroverted, and everything to do with harnessing what Nietzsche called the most underrated weapon: silence. So, why keep playing by the old rules when the game has already changed? If you're tired of feeling ignored, dismissed, or outmaneuvered, it's time to flip the script. Nietzsche's silent secret isn't reserved for philosophers or leaders. It's a rapid, practical shift anyone can use, starting today. Ready to discover how silence can make you unforgettably and maybe even a little dangerous? It's funny how everyone's out there trying to win arguments, as if collecting debate trophies is the key to success. But if Nietzsche taught us anything, it's that the real champions are those who win over themselves first. Instead of letting the ego lead every conversation, the true strategist pauses, takes a breath, and lets silence do the heavy lifting. You know that feeling when someone tries to push your buttons, and you just don't react? Suddenly, you've flipped the script, and the power quietly shifts your way. Nietzsche understood something most people miss. Discussions aren't about facts, they're about egos wrestling for dominance. People rarely change their minds just because you brought a mountain of evidence. They're looking to defend their worldview, to protect what's familiar. When you respond with calm and even a little bit of silence, you catch them off guard. Imagine being in a heated meeting and, instead of jumping in, you let others fill the void. Often, they reveal more than they intended, and you gain insight without saying a word. If you want to put this into practice, try an experiment today. When someone challenges you or pokes at your opinion, don't answer right away. Just pause. Watch how the room reacts. Sometimes, just 5 seconds of thoughtful silence can make you look wise, mysterious, and, let's be honest, just a little intimidating. Nietzsche would probably smirk at how much can be accomplished with a pause. But of course, this is just the beginning. Let's see what happens when silence becomes your secret weapon in negotiations and leadership. Have you ever noticed how the most influential people in the room are often the quietest? Nietzsche would nudge us to observe legends like Socrates, Steve Jobs, and even the samurai Miyamoto Musashi masters, who wielded silence like a blade. In tough negotiations or heated conflicts, they rarely rushed to fill the air with words. Instead, their calm silence created a kind of psychological tension that kept everyone guessing. It's almost like the quiet ones are reading the entire room while everyone else is just trying to be heard. Take leadership, for example. When a boss or mentor remains silent after a tough question, the entire team starts thinking deeper. It forces others to reflect, sometimes nervously, and often to reveal more than they intended. In those moments, silence isn't passive, it commands respect, shows self-control, and gives the leader an edge. Nietzsche knew that silence, when used purposefully, unsettles adversaries and resets the dynamic of any conversation. Want to try this in your own life? Next time you're in a disagreement, simply pause and let the other person speak first. Or, when leading a group, ask an important question and wait. You'll be surprised at how quickly people scramble to fill the silence, sometimes revealing their true motives or offering solutions they wouldn't have if you'd jumped in. Nietzsche's insight here is that the person who controls the tempo with silence shapes the entire direction of the conversation. And that brings us to how you can start using these techniques intentionally in your day-to-day interactions. Mastering the art of strategic silence isn't just about keeping your mouth shut, it's about knowing how and when to use it. Nietzsche might say that power lies in 3 deceptively simple moves. Respond with silence, control your nonverbal signals, and use pauses like punctuation. Picture yourself in a conversation where, instead of reacting instantly, you hold back, giving a thoughtful nod or a slow, steady gaze. Instantly, you project confidence and become harder to read, qualities that demand respect in any setting. Let's make this practical. Next time someone asks you a tricky question, don't blurt out your answer. Instead, pause and take a moment to think. This brief silence signals that you're not easily rattled, and it often makes others respect your opinion even more. If you're negotiating, use body language, relaxed shoulders, open posture, show calm, unspoken authority. These small shifts, inspired by Nietzsche's ideas, can make you the most compelling voice in the room. Even when you're not talking, you don't have to be a philosopher or a CEO to use these techniques. Try practicing them at home, at work, or even in casual conversations. Challenge yourself to let others break the silence first. You'll notice people leaning in, eager for your thoughts, and you'll find it easier to steer interactions in your favor. With Nietzsche's wisdom in your pocket, every pause becomes a power move. And as you internalize this, you'll start to see a real shift, not just in how others see you, but in how you see yourself. Now that you know Nietzsche's silent secret, what will you do with it? Are you ready to stop wasting energy on arguments and start commanding respect by mastering your reactions? Imagine how different your relationships, your work, and even your inner world could look if you simply let silence work for you. The next time someone tries to provoke you, will you rise to the bait, or will you pause, watch the power shift, and realize you're in control? How would your life change if you stopped talking just to fill the void and started letting your presence do the talking? Maybe it's time to try it just for a day, or even for a single conversation. You might be surprised by how quickly people notice, how the dynamic shifts, and how much easier it is to influence outcomes without ever raising your voice. What if the respect and influence you've been chasing are already within your reach, just waiting for you to embrace this ancient, counterintuitive wisdom? So, are you brave enough to put Nietzsche's lesson into practice and see the results for yourself? Drop a comment, sharing your experience or your thoughts. Have you ever tried strategic silence before? And don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications. That way, you'll always have a front row seat to powerful ideas that can change the way you think, act, and lead. Your journey to real power starts with a single pause. Are you ready?